What's going on everyone? Welcome to the channel and welcome to another delicious recipe video. In this one we're going to be making some sticky Asian chicken wings. They have the most amazing fragrant flavour with a great selection of ingredients that makes them slightly sweet, slightly salty, slightly crispy and absolutely delicious. Please sit back, relax and enjoy. Alright guys, let's start this off with 1.2 kilos or 2.6 pounds worth of chicken wings that have been separated into wingettes and drummetes and have also had their tips removed. To create a marinade for the chicken, we're going to add in 1 teaspoon or 5 milliliters of sesame oil, which will add a very nice deep flavour, 2 tablespoons or 30 milliliters of Shaoxing Cooking Wine, which eliminates any unpleasant raw meat smells as well as adding an aromatic rich flavour, but I know some of you can't consume alcohol, so this can be substituted for chicken stock or broth. Next, add in 2 tablespoons or 30 milliliters of light or normal soy sauce for that umami hit, but don't use dark soy as it is a bit overpowering for this recipe. Add in 2 tablespoons or 25 grams of brown sugar to help that chicken caramelize, 1.5 tablespoons or 25 grams of oyster sauce for more umami flavor as well as sweetness, 1.5 tablespoons or 25 grams of Hoisin sauce which will help create a glaze, 1/4 cup or 70 grams of tomato ketchup which will give us some tang and sweetness as well as lots of moisture to coat all of that chicken, 1 tablespoon or 25 grams of Sambal Oelek or Sriracha sauce which is obviously for spice but this can be left out if you're not a fan, half a teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice powder which is a combination of star anise, cinnamon, cloves, fennel seeds and Szechuan pepper. And once that's all in, grab yourself 5 cloves of fresh garlic and run them along a fine microplane or grater to create a nice fine paste. Then make sure to scrape out any bits that may be stuck to avoid wastage. Next, grab 1 tablespoon or 30 grams worth of ginger and using a spoon we're just going to peel the ginger. Doing it with a spoon only removes the skin, whereas if you use a peeler or a knife you are going to remove the flesh which then results in wastage. Once that's done, again we're going to run it along a fine microplane or grater to create a nice fine paste. And making sure to scrape out any bits that may be stuck again. Now with 1 fresh lemon to finish the marinade, we're going to slice it in half, saving half of it for another dish or drink, and squeeze in the juice of the remaining half. And I like to squeeze it into my hand, just to make sure that no seeds decide to jump into the recipe. Now that that's all done, we're going to mix all of this together using either your hands, some tongs or a spoon, until all of the marinade is completely combined and completely coating our wings. And I must say, this is extremely satisfying. Once marinated, we can cover the bowl with cling wrap and allow this to marinate out of the fridge for no longer than 20 minutes. Any longer than this, the sodium levels will draw too much moisture from the chicken, which will then dry out our chicken and also cause them to steam in the oven and not get that nice caramelized crispy crunch. When you're ready to cook, prepare a baking tray lined with aluminium foil to catch any drippings and avoid a messy cleanup, as well as parchment paper so the chicken doesn't stick. We can then grab our marinated chicken, shaking off any excess marinade, which we will be reserving so don't get rid of it, and add the chicken onto the prepared tray. Social distance the chicken so it can cook more consistently all over. And once it's ready to go, we can place it into an oven that's been preheated to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit and bake these for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, we can open the oven and carefully pull out the rack. And with that reserved marinade and a pastry brush, we can baste our chicken, which will moisten it up as well as increase the flavour and help with caramelization. Once that's done, gently flip the chicken over using some tongs and baste the opposite side. Place the rack back into the oven and continue baking the chicken for a further 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, we're going to repeat that whole basting process again as well as flipping the chicken wings over, and then we're going to continue baking the chicken for a final 15 to 20 minutes or until deeply golden and caramelized. Whilst we're waiting for our chicken, let's prepare some garnishes. Here is 2 spring onions or scallions to which we're going to slice them in half and save the root end for another dish or stock. Remove any scrappy ends if necessary, which we can then also save for a stock. Then on a slight angle, very thinly slice the spring onion or scallion to create nice little diamond shaped pieces. Then this one is optional, but with 1 bird's eye chili, we're going to slice off the stem, which we can then place into a compost bin. And then all we're going to do is very thinly slice the chili. You can also take the seeds out if you prefer, but if you do like it hot, I suggest you leave them in. Now after a total of 2 basting sessions and 55 minutes later, we can very carefully remove that amazing caramelized chicken from the oven, being careful of the escaping heat. Place the chicken onto a wire rack or heat resistant surface, then gently rub each wing all over in those juices that have accumulated on the tray to make sure that they're nice and sticky. Then here I have 1 tablespoon's worth of sesame seeds that I'm just going to very lightly sprinkle over, which you don't have to use, but it does add a nice little pop of flavour as well as some great colour contrast. We can then stack these up into our bowls or whichever dish you're going to use to serve these in. Pour over those delicious juices that have been left on the baking tray. Sprinkle over that thinly sliced chilli if you're using it, as well as the thinly sliced spring onion or scallions. Top it off with some fresh coriander or cilantro leaves and stems. And then the moment to make this all worthwhile, we can then dig in. You seriously have to try these. Everything about them is so good. They're sweet, they're salty, they're crispy, they're nice and fragrant, and they're very mildly spicy. This recipe here makes 1.2 kilos or 2.6 pounds worth. To store these, simply place them in the fridge in an airtight container for up to 4 days. And you can also freeze these again in an airtight container for up to 4 months. To reheat these, you can place them in the microwave, or you can put them into an oven set onto 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I was able to teach you something. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to smash that like button and consider subscribing to see hundreds of more fantastic recipes. Thanks for watching everyone, stay safe and enjoy.